Hi, and welcome to another episode of Health Naturally. I'm Paul Gerst, a licensed acupuncturist and natural health practitioner, and your host. This show is about emotional trauma, more specifically that which is experienced in abusive relationships, the loss of a loved one, or a drastic unwanted event such as the loss of a job, along with the subsequent depression, anxiety, low self-esteem, self-destructive behaviors, etc. These events, although a part of every one of our lives, are nonetheless immensely stressful and hard on the body, mind, and spirit. The toll they take amounts to physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual wherewithal of each individual, meaning that those who keep themselves in sound shape in each of these areas more readily weather the storm, versus those who are weak, fearful, drama-laden, etc., who tend to spiral downwards and often lose control. Depending on the system of medicine chosen, the treatment for people who've been through trauma may involve psychotherapy and/or medication, or natural therapies that also involve various forms of counseling, but also may include acupuncture, chiropractic care, diet, supplementation, meditation, exercises, light and sound treatments, tapping techniques, and more. These natural techniques seek to bring the body into a state of balance, which in turn leads to a greater ability to heal, cope, gain a sense of hope, and plan and execute purpose and goals. Anything that leads our bodies and minds to function better is the right medicine, as long as the treatment doesn't lead to unwanted effects or further detriment. Sometimes the right treatment is the one that takes the person out of harm's way right now, but it should be a bridge to other forms of care. A common mistake that is sometimes made by the Western medical practitioner is to prescribe medications to help the patient sleep and deal with depression, not knowing that these medications often lead to a revolving door with medications to deal with emotional issues that are often caused by the medications themselves. Medication, in most cases, should be short-term, and a plan should be made and overseen by both the prescribing physician and the mental health practitioner. This just makes sense, but many a patient has come through my door and for some reason has fallen through the Western medical cracks. To be fair, the patient may be at fault in some of these cases, and to hold the natural practitioner's feet to the fire, sometimes a referral isn't made when one should be made. Both sides are fallible and neither system is perfect. The point I'm trying to make is that it is important to have a strong advocate and a practitioner who is aware of options and not one who is going to prescribe it and forget it. Through the 16 years I have practiced, I have seen many cases of depression, anxiety, relationship issues, anger, frustration, resentment, and more. Sometimes these issues are traced to nutritive deficiencies, toxicity issues, environment, history, and at other times there is a direct association with a catastrophic event or traumatic ongoing situation. Of course, upon further examination, one may determine that all these factors are not mutually exclusive of one another and one may lead to another, complicating diagnostics as well as the treatment path. All the more reason to work with someone who is experienced and comfortable working through these different areas, whatever field of medicine they utilize. With ongoing emotional issues, physical symptoms often arise. Some of the common issues are TMJ, headaches, neck pain, back pain, and stomach aches. But this is a partial list at best. Metaphysical issues, which are those with underlying emotional or spiritual causes or triggers, may involve any area of the body and nearly any symptom. If you or a loved one is dealing with emotional trauma, other than working with an experienced professional, as I mentioned, it is also important to have or build a good support network. Friends, families, and/or groups that have your best interests front and center. Too many people surround themselves with people by default, and those people, be they family members or so-called friends, do not have the patient's best interests at heart, but instead infect the situation with their own drama, misguided perceptions, negative influence, narcissism, and so on. Positive support is crucial, and there are a lot of people out there who are full of love and kindness. You may not have had them in your life, but I have seen people transition from fear, distrust, and pain to love, joy, and purpose. It is also important not to close down, as hard as it is to remain open when you may feel totally violated and just want to shut down or turn away from everything and everyone. By remaining open, at least a little, you are leaving the door open for hope to enter. I see this in the patient who is willing to show up for treatments, make changes in their diet, and maybe try something they've never tried before. Either way, whether you are dealing with emotional trauma, depression, anxiety, or chronic illness, the road may demand patience and perseverance. But it is often met with success when a plan is followed, positive thoughts and actions are implemented, along with the good support system I just spoke of. I am pleased to have Martha Tassinari, a cranio-sacral therapist from Duxbury, as my guest. Her business is the South Shore Healing Center. I'd like to introduce everyone to our guest this evening, Martha Tassinari of the South Shore Healing Center. Welcome, Martha.
Thank you. Thank you, Paul.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how did you get into the health field?
Well, Paul, I was a traditional physical therapist for quite a while, and I started experiencing a lot of back pain and neck pain. And I was married to an alcoholic/drug addict, and that's when I really started getting my pain with that stress in my life. And I ended up getting divorced. And I went through a lot of different modalities, and it was a temporary fix. So someone had said, well, why don't you try a Cranio-Sacral Therapist for your back pain? So I started doing that, and I was really amazed just in a couple of visits how much better I felt. I had not only a physical release, but I also had a lot of emotional release. That was one of the reasons why I was having a lot of back pain. So I started just taking a couple of courses, and then I just decided to specialize in craniosacral therapy because I saw the huge benefits.
Well, what everybody needs to know right now is, what is craniosacral therapy?
Okay. In a nutshell, craniosacral therapy is a very gentle, light touch therapy that addresses our central nervous system. Our central nervous system is the command center of our body. It controls every system: our digestive system, our pain, our emotions, bowel system. So by addressing this, we're not only addressing pain, but we're also addressing other symptoms in the body. So it's really a total body system. And the craniosacral system is comprised of our brain, our spinal cord, and also what's called cerebral spinal fluid in our body. So addressing that is really addressing the entire body. For example, if you had pelvic surgery, and all of a sudden you develop tightness in those particular tissues, over time that might affect your digestive system.
Okay, so continue on with that and go into what kinds of things you help with, or what does craniosacral help with?
It really does help with a variety of things. It helps, number one, with your immune system. It also helps with migraines, headaches, neck and back pain, orthopedic problems such as shoulder problems or knee problems, stress. Okay. Quite often someone may be holding an emotion in a particular tissue in their body, and they may release something emotionally, such as grief, stressful relationship, things of that sort.
Okay. And is that basically along the mindset that because you're working with the central nervous system and the brain controls everything in the body, that basically anything that's along that pathway, if there's a dysfunction there, that's why you're able to work with it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And quite often, sometimes where the client or patient is having pain isn't necessarily where the root problem is.
I know that all too well with my work in Chinese medicine, so it's very, very much the same.
Absolutely.